Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the Creator and Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we do not intend for it to be long. We do, brothers and sisters, intend to bring this out to our people. By our people, I'm speaking in two parts, not being double talking at the same token. What I'm saying is speaking upon the matter of us as a people, the children of Israel, as has been expressed quite often on this platform. This is on Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mora Yeshaya history lessons, and the Facebook page Yeshaya Orthodox. And what this presentation, brothers and sisters, is about is to speak upon the matter, if we will, about deliberate Sabbath breakers. While, brothers and sisters, I do not profess to have been in my life the best Sabbath keeper, it is never the good thought, idea, or impression to teach, to have it to be thought of to our people to break the Sabbath. Recently, we just, for us as Israelites, celebrated the time of Hanukkah. And in that, one of the things that people were fighting for, as it says there, is for their lives and for the law. And in light of that, one of the things that the people wanted to do to get the people to break from their culture, to break from their way of life, brothers and sisters, is to have them not keeping the days that were sacred to them. That is one way to get the people to break away from such. This is December 24th. I work in the city and have all kinds of people coming saying, Happy holidays, happy holidays, Merry such and such, happy holidays, Merry such and so forth and so on. You understand? In the light of that kind of matter, we can begin to see how these peoples, these nations, do not, brothers and sisters, take lightly their times that they hold near and dear to themselves. They take it very seriously, brothers and sisters, for the lack of a better term. I know that this may be an unusual time on a so-called Sunday, 8 a.m. to sit there, Eastern Standard Time, to bring this out, but it was in the spirit to do so and so forth and so on. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Okay, brothers and sisters, to deliberate Sabbath breakers. Let's look. We are the people to whom I'm addressing in the land of our exile. Some may say the land of our captivity. Regardless, say, of what stance one has, even though it should say exile more so than captivity, because you can move about unlike a captive. You can go to your homeland. You may have to go through passport. You may have to go through different channels and so forth and so on. But it is not impossible for you to go and even, quote, repatriate, as many have done, to the land of Israel itself. All right, so that's something we want to point out for reference purposes. We're going to read without PowerPoint here in First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 21, if we will. First Maccabees 3:21 reads on this wise: But we fight for our lives and our laws. Another portion we're going to read is in the first book of Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Gave many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days. So the profanation of the Sabbath is mentioned in verse 43 and in verse 45. And that is part of the strange laws that Antiochus talked about. having the people do. So if we know good and well, brothers and sisters, that going against the keeping of the Sabbath day as holy is strange to the children of Israel, then why do we think that it is okay to sit there and profane it and everything be on the up and up? Let's go, brothers and sisters, into the scriptures and let's read into Leviticus chapter 26, please. Leviticus, the 26th chapter, we are going to read there, right, in verse 41. And let's see what this says, brothers and sisters. And that I have also walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. That's where we as a people are in the land of our enemies. If then their uncircumcised heart be humbled, and they then accept the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. So the goal, according to this we see here, is one to change from an uncircumcised heart, humble your heart, if you will, and to have that covenant renewed, as was done in the case with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, that shows us that there wasn't any other covenant that was going to sit there in place of that. One. Two. Another thing to point out, it says in verse 39 of Leviticus chapter 26, and they that are left of you shall pound away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands, and also in the iniquities of their fathers shall they pound away with them. So, what is the iniquities of our forefathers? When you go to Ezekiel chapter 20, it says that Israel in the ancient days greatly profaned the Sabbath. Brothers and sisters, if it says the iniquities of us in the land of our enemies, that shows us in Leviticus 26 that our ways and our doings are still being judged, even though we're in the land of our enemies. Now, one of these sad statements that people bring regarding their matter of wanting to deliberately break the Sabbath is a total misunderstanding. They cite, brothers and sisters, this portion here in the book of Hosea, if we will. So this is not being based on PowerPoint. This is being based on, brothers and sisters, a matter of listening for those who are interested and taking heed for those who are hearing to do so. In the book of Hosea, brothers and sisters, we're going to read, and it says this: the word of Yah that came to Hosea, the son of Beeri, in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah, in the days of Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel. So this prophet Hosea was prophesying at the same time that Isaiah was prophesying, brothers and sisters. All right, just want to point that out for reference purposes, even though he started prophesying before Isaiah, eventually the two timings of them prophesying were cohesive, sorry. All right, just want to point that out for reference purposes. Okay, let's go on, brothers and sisters. And it says this in the book of Hosea. It says in Hosea chapter 3, verse 4, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear Yah and his goodness in the latter days. Brothers and sisters, when it says right here, the children of Israel shall abide without a king, without a prince, without sacrifice, and without an image, that does not mean that it is okay to break the Sabbath, brothers and sisters. That's something we want to point out. Another miscitation, if there is even a such word, or misquotation, I must say, is coming from people who cite Isaiah chapter 1, which says this. All right, wanted to go into the prophets to point this out for reference purposes, brothers and sisters. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amoz, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. It goes on to say, brothers and sisters, Isaiah chapter 1, verse 10. Hear the word of Yah, you rulers of Sodom. Give ear unto the law of our God, you people of Gomorrah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices unto me? Saith Yah, I am full of burnt offerings of rams, and the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks or of lambs or of he goats. When you come to appear before me, who hath required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I can not away with. It is iniquity, even the Solomon meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates. We in Isaiah chapter 1. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. When you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. And that, no disrespect, is where some stop and saying, see, the Sabbath and the new moons and keeping of the holy days, we can't do, and it doesn't sit there and make any kind of sense according to some. But here's the problem with that kind of mentality. First off, it says, and when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Does that mean that we are not to pray? Let's continue. It says in verse 16, wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil, learn to do well, seek judgment, believe the oppressed, judge the fatherless, plead for the widow. Brothers and sisters, to take what is written in Isaiah chapter 1, when it says that the Most High is weary to deal with the holy assemblies that the Israelites were having in those days and times, is not a quote excuse or a justified reason to say we do not have to keep the Sabbath. That is something that we want to point out for reference purposes. So again, this is on Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mora Yeshaya history lessons, as well, brothers and sisters, as the Facebook page, Yeshaya Author Danites. Shalom to the people I see, the brother Azaria, the brother Ishya. If I mispronounce your names, I apologize. All right? If I can be heard by anyone, if you're in good spirits, please type in the number 4. All right. Now, brothers and sisters, I do not sit here and profess to it in my life, being 43, being raised in this understanding since a baby, that I have been the best Sabbath keeper. But here's the situation, and it's not to get too personal or disrespectful. In many cases, males teach about, or you can't sit there and do the Sabbath for one and or two reasons. Women, money. Here's the situation. On the Sabbath, in some companies, especially union ones, when you work on the Sabbath, they give you more pay in many cases. That's the money part. In many cases, men want to deal and take out the women after getting paid, say, on Friday or Thursday. And in many times, they do that, say, on the Sabbath. So, for males, in many cases, once it comes down to a matter, if you will, regarding that, it is based on that. It is not based on truly understanding what the prophets were stating. When you go in Isaiah 58, let's read that, brothers and sisters, and see what it says in many cases. Isaiah 58, and we're going to read, if we will, verse 13. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yah honorable, and shall honor him, not doing your own ways, nor finding your own pleasure, nor speaking your own word. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yah, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of Yah has spoken it. What's the heritage of Jacob? One, the land and everything that came along with it. Do you know that the breaking of the Sabbath is part of the reason why the temple in Jerusalem was destroyed? Do you know that the so-called Philosophians, who call themselves understandably Beit Israel, by them keeping the Sabbath is how they were noted to be different than Hamites? Like your ways is different. Yes. The Sabbath in Ezekiel chapter 20, as well as Exodus chapter 31, it shows it to be a sign between the Most High and Israel. Now, when you go in your own time, brothers and sisters, and you read In Isaiah 54, it speaks about Israel being the wife of the Most High. When a man takes a woman, as the Most High took Israel, brought that woman from one status to another, like the Most High brought Israel from one status to another, bringing them up out of the land of Egypt. You're no longer their bondman, right? What can we say about that, brothers and sisters? What can be stated about that, brothers and sisters? Many things. You, as a man who helps that woman, you've seen her in a certain state. This is not to toot your own horn as a brother or man, and so forth and so on. But you expect some kind of acknowledgement. You expect, well, I didn't ask you to do it. You don't expect that. And when we as Israel do that before the Most High, that is the attitude that we show in the Creator. There are 7 days in a week. And if you are keeping the laws, if that's mentioned in Exodus 20, it says 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. And in truth, if you really on your grind, if you really putting in that work, you look forward to the Shabbat. Shabbat meaning cease or to rest. It's not like sleep like Yashin. That's a Hebrew word that's different. You understand? When you read in Exodus 31, the poor translation that says, and the Most High was refreshed. The Hebrew says, Vayinafash. That doesn't mean refreshed. It means one came of the one completion. The Most High is known through his work, brothers and sisters. You understand? So, as speaking as a man, and this is not to say the Most High is a human being, brothers and sisters. How do you feel when you have a certain anniversary with your significant other, Israel being the wife of the Most High, and that's disregarded deliberately, and you're teaching others to sit there and do that? That is no different than an online or offline, girl, you ain't got to pay him no mind. He's supposed to have done that. That mentality. So Israelites, be they males or females, that's teaching other Israelites, Israel being the wife of the Most High, Israel being delivered by Israel's Ish, Israel's man, Israel's husband, the chief, the Most High God, out of situations, give the Most High the time that he's talking about. And again, if you are truly keeping Exodus chapter 20, verse 9, that says, 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, I promise you, you're looking forward to the Shabbat. But if you're not doing that, if you're not speaking your own words on the 6 days, if you're not pursuing your own pleasures on the 6 other days, if you're not doing your own ways the 6 other days, then the Shabbat's not going to have a significance in your life. So in the Lord of the Sabbath, brothers and sisters, we are taught that we are supposed to do our work. Let's go to the scriptures and let the book speak. Proverbs chapter 30, verse 13. Again, this is not based on PowerPoint, brothers and sisters, but just coming from the Spirit, giving thanks unto the Most High, creator, maker of heaven and earth. We are in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 13, and it says this, if you will. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. Now, brothers and sisters, even in today's terminology, when people talk about bread, what are they talking about? Guap, paper, funds, money. That we don't pursue on the Sabbath, brothers and sisters. You understand? But the other days of the week, we do. So, what is the distinction in that particular case? It's a selfish mentality. It's a mentality that says that you don't have to give of your time unto your God, your creator, brothers and sisters. It says in Deuteronomy chapter 5, One of the reasons why we were taught to keep the Shabbat is because the Most High brought us up out of the land of Egypt. Now, there are those who are going to say we don't do the offerings that you see in Numbers chapter 28 regarding the Sabbath. But, brothers and sisters, there are offerings of animals that are done every single day, including the Sabbath. There are prayers that are offered every day, including the Sabbath. So, does that mean that we don't do anything then? Brothers and sisters, absolutely not. That's not what that means. What distinguishes you as an Israelite? It can't just be your garments. It can't just be your fringes. It can't just be because you say shalom. It can't just be because you wear a frontlet on your headpiece or so forth. It can't just be that. It can't be because you just have a staff or you chose a particular Hebrew name. That cannot be your identifying mark. Those are words. Those are garments. Those are pieces of wood that you put Hebrew on that you walk with. Brothers and sisters, it's your deeds. And one of the things that makes that distinction, the Most High is known through his ma'asim, the Hebrew word meaning actions or deeds. And we being the children of the Most High, Isaiah 54 showing us be the wife of the Most High, shows that we are in the image of the Most High. He's holy, so we to be holy. So we have to incorporate that same thing. Not saying the Most High is a human. A man wants his woman, his lady, his wife, to emulate his light. And remember, we are the wife of the Most High God. We are married to the Most High God. So, in light of that, brothers and sisters, here's the question. As a man, do you want your woman to darken your image? As a man, do you want your lady to sit there and not represent for you, not talk highly for you, not sit there and represent for you, not on the human level praise you, when all these other women, in other words, in this case, these other nations are praising their gods like they plan to do tomorrow on what they call Xmas, and you the wife of the Most High and you silent? You the representation and the true vicar of God, unlike the Pope tried to say of himself. And here you are sitting up there not representing for your man. You're not representing for your chief. You're not representing for your husband. That's a problem. You're not representing your head. The body is going against the head, and that is what you call a problem. The spine, correct me if I'm wrong, is connected to the cerebellum or the cerebrum. I don't know the body like that, but I think the spine is in some way, shape, form, or fashion connected to the brain. The spine has to be in line, brothers and sisters. You ever seen a power couple as a man and woman? That is a couple that comes together and one works in unison with the other. Brothers and sisters, a woman expects her head to be a form of protection. Women, now talking on a human level, look for a sense of security in a man. A man looks for a sense of warmth in his woman. Physically, the children of Israel, being a wife of the Most High, was warm when the desert was hot in the Sinai. Who do you think, with all of these kinds of things going on, is keeping roof over your head, clothes on your back, being able to have employment, being able to get things honestly, being able to have good children, being Shalom. Sorry about that. It went out and I had to go back in and so forth. As you may have noticed, I changed the overlay from my day and night matter, which is part of my website, to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Why? We might see, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Because perhaps if you are truly doing Exodus chapter 20, verse 9, brothers and sisters, you just might forget about the Sabbath. In real talk, if you just used to getting up, going to work, and getting up working, whether it's a home-based business or it's an out-the-house business or so forth, so on, and you handling your affairs, you might, as some Israelites who do observe the Sabbath, gotten up on so-called Saturday, getting ready to sit there and go, be like, oh man, so that's why you might see wear the law as a frontlet, write it on your doorposts. Be reminded of this. You understand? You might see that in that particular realm because you just might forget it. By the time you get to the book of Deuteronomy, it says, observe the Sabbath to keep it holy. What does holy mean, brothers and sisters? Something that is sacred, something that is separated, something that is under the matter of Kodesh, or that is sanctified, brothers and sisters. And in light of that, we do not ever, brothers and sisters, not being long-winded, ever forget that. I attempted in this presentation, brothers and sisters, to go through this through different kind of aspects before we close out. Israel being the wife of the Most High God, and the Most High being the husband, the chief, the head of the house of Israel. If you are the head of your lady, brothers, and you have a certain date for your wife and you to just have y'all time, don't talk about the job. I don't want to hear nothing about that right now. Don't talk about any drama. I don't want to hear that right now. It's just us. I rested this day and see from work, and you, my representative, I want the same for you. I want you to be in my image. That's the image that is being spoken about in that case. How do you feel if your lady got every other reason to not represent with you? Please, to the brothers and sisters who say about not keeping the Sabbath and knowing the position that the nation of Israel has with the Most High, how do you feel about that kind of situation? How would you feel about every time a memorial, like the Sabbath is, memorial of remembrance, Zakar, means to remember, Zikaron, memorial, Zakar, and root meaning to remember, Zakor, the command form of such, that Z-K-R in the English, that Zion, Kafration in Hebrew matter. How would you feel again if every time the memorial or the remembering that you and your significant other have, there's always something else coming up? See, that can't be a good feeling, brothers and sisters. So in light of that, why do we think we, being the wife of the Most High, want to take on the name Yisrael, meaning El will contend, El will prevail? Brothers and sisters, we want that Yah save me. And when the Most High gives an order, as a chief does, about what to do in being holy, not being sad, not to be miserable, but to be sanctified, why would you want to fight against that? It's because we have not come, brothers and sisters, to where we could and should be at this day and time. We cannot use the fact of being in captivity as a way to say we cannot and should not keep the Sabbath. Ezekiel chapter 16 points that out. It says, wherever the children of Israel have gone, the Most High has been as a little sanctuary unto us. A sanctuary is a mikdash. Quadash is the root, brothers and sisters. So in light of that, if it says Quadosh, holy, why do we who have the ability, unlike our ancestors in the 17th century and the 18th century, could not sit there and have that time off? Why do we have a semblance of what we will call freedom and want to play games with the Most High God? The nations knew that when we were freed in this Western Hemisphere from the physical captivity, then the mental captivity was not far off. They didn't want us to have that connection with the Most High. I point out ever so often on the platform that there was a presentation of saying, we brought you here to serve us, not to serve God. That was stated to the people that were enslaved in Florida. Brothers and sisters, it was not that far off from our matter of being relieved from physical slavery that we started talking about us being the children of Israel on a high note. Starting to my knowledge in Tennessee, and then branching off into other parts in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and so forth and so on, before it actually came big into New York, before you call what is referred to as Rabbi Ford and Rabbi Matthew and others and so forth and so on. There were those who were before them, who were some of them born into slavery. So why would we believe that that kind of matter is a historic matter, and we think it's okay to sit there and want to break the holy days and the timing of the Most High God? That is a question, brothers and sisters, that I have. You know why? It's because we don't see it as serious. We may not see it as important, but it is most definitely important. There has been, brothers and sisters, no blessing come to the house of Israel for breaking the Sabbath. And as I have stated and do state, I myself, who speaks on this platform and been on other platforms, have not always been in my life the best Sabbath observer. So I'm not here to sit there and state that. For most times males who teach that, it's because of the job, that overtime. It's usually because of some lady and so forth. But I want to, on a human level, give a shout out to my lady, because let's say if a brother was going astray regarding that, when you have a lady that's in this, not because you're in it, brother, but because she's in this for her relationship with the Most High God, it's a little different. Because now it's like, brother, you're violating. Brother, don't do that. Brother, check that ingredients. Brother, it's the Sabbath. Brother, it's the holy time. Brother, don't do that. Brother, is that wise to do, even if it's not Shabbat? When you have someone that's in your life like that, as I am thankful to the Most High for having my lady Sarai in my life like that, that keeps you as a man on point, without you being feel that you're being marginalized as a man or you're being disrespected as a man. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. Now, in closing out this particular matter with the timing allotted, when you go into the book of Jeremiah, let's go to Jeremiah chapter 19, brothers and sisters. Jeremiah chapter 19, if we will. Sorry about that. Let's start in verse 1. I know why I had that in my head. Thanks. Thus saith Yah, go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of the people and of the ancients of the priests, and go into the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the word that I shall tell thee. And say, hear ye the word of Yah, O ye kings of Judah, and inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, which whosoever heareth his ears shall tingle, because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burnt incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah have filled this place with the blood of innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons in the fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it in my mind. Brothers and sisters, in this, if you are the representative of the Most High God, and you, brothers and sisters, are not keeping the Sabbath, who are you serving? What are you teaching your children, brothers and sisters, to do? What are you teaching the nations on how to treat you if you're serving their gods. Because you can't serve your enemy's God and your God at the same time, brothers and sisters, in that particular case. So there's a reason why my mind went to Jeremiah chapter 19. Why, brothers and sisters, do we keep on sacrificing ourselves and not giving of ourselves unto the Most High God? Why, brothers and sisters, do we not sit there and want our closeness and our relationship with our God? Do you know that Israelites, I can certainly vouch in the 1980s, would teach that if you keep the Sabbath just for a month that this society itself will fall, we keep it afloat. We keep it in our captivity or exile even longer because we don't return back to the Most High God. Again, there's 7 days in a week. And of those 7 days, the Most High requires one direct day for himself. And we already been reading that it was the style of the Greeks to try to make sure that Israel don't return back to the Most High God. And one of the key ingredients to keep us from the Most High is to keep us from the days that the Most High had sanctified. I point out again, on a human level, if a wife, and this is not a snap on women, if a wife forgets her anniversary or could care less about it, if your lady could care less about the times that are memorial as a couple, that man is going to feel a way about that. So just as in Jeremiah 19, when they was not acknowledging the Most High, they were serving Baal. So that man is going to wonder, who is my lady? Who is my wife? Who's my significant other? For the lack of a better term, who is my boo? Dealing with, at least in our head, if not any other aspect, as to why I'm no longer as important to her. That I am not a priority to her in her life. That is what the Most High is saying when we don't keep those sacred times unto Yah. Who are you serving? Because in Jeremiah 19, it already showed where their works were going. They were serving Baal, the gods of the people of Canaan, who did not have a Sabbath, brothers and sisters. So, I remember personally one time an interview. And in the interview, my resume stated that special skills, speaks Hebrew. And the person who was conducting the interview asked, well, what days would you like to have off? And the day that I stated was Saturday. The interview was over. Because those are signs. One, you're a man of color. Two, you're talking about on your resume, you speak Hebrew. Three, you want Saturday off? The guy just turned his eyes to the side and was just like, ugh, I was never called back. Because now connections is being made. These nations know what we are to do. Remember, they are the one who had our records for X amount of time before we got it back in this Western Hemisphere. So they studied us and studied our records, studied our culture, try to mimic the culture too, and so forth and so on. So Israel, are we going to let what we've been calling imposters, Khazars, and always talk about Nasir Sadat saying, or whoever the president of Egypt's name was, sorry if I mispronounced it, you left black and came back white. Are we going to let these people who we say been wearing our coat for X amount of time outdo us in our culture? That's a question. That's another question. We've been calling them imposters online and offline for quite some time now. So how do we let them outdo us in what is ours, that we've been proclaiming is ours online and offline? How is it that they have tighter matters concerning the days that they're saying belong to them, which we're saying we know belong to us? You gonna let someone else out of Europe outdo you in your culture, you sons of Israel, you daughters of Judah, you princes of the children of Levi, or whatever else title we have and name for ourselves? No, brothers and sisters. We have to have a fervent and a zealous spirit to want to reclaim back what is ours. You understand? This is something important for reference purposes. And again, there's nothing wrong with working after the Sabbath for that overtime. There's nothing wrong with working on the first day of the week. It don't have to be so-called Monday to Friday only, but don't renege on what your covenant and your born promise to the Most High God is. You understand? There is no blessing in that, brothers and sisters. What that says in part is, one, we don't have a tight community. Whereas, well, I feel I got to work on the Shabbat and so forth and so on. It also says on a deeper level, we don't trust that the Most High is going to have a way for us. So I just got to do me, so to speak, mentality. Like Yah doesn't know the situation at hand. Like Yah doesn't know about what a bill is or what mortgage or rent is. Like Yah doesn't know about the fact that you got to pay on this or child support when he is the one who is the supreme intelligence of the universe. Do we not know, or do we think that it's just a sabbatical God, you know, a God only of the Sabbath and not every day of the week? He gives you laws for the Sabbath, and in it, there are laws for you to do throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the night, throughout the morning, throughout the afternoon, for the kings, for the priests, for the princes, for the sons, for the daughters, for the children, for the elders. There's already a culture that has already been established, brothers and sisters. So let us look, if we will, in Jeremiah chapter 17. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for those who've done it in the past. This is on, again, more Yeshaya Torah lessons and more Yeshaya history lessons, and the Facebook page, Yeshaya Author Danite. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17, if we will. 19. Jeremiah 17:19. Thus said Yah unto me, go and stand in the gate of the children of the people, whereby the kings of Judah come in, and by which they go out, and in all the gates of Jerusalem, and say unto them, hear ye the word of Yah, ye kings of Judah, and all Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem that enter in by these gates. You know why we might read Judah a lot in this particular part? Because the tribes of the northern kingdom done fell as a kingdom. So you have what you call the southern kingdom in this particular case. Remember, by the time Jeremiah came along the scene, there was no Israelite king that was of the northern tribes. It was in a time, as he stated, Josiah all the way down to Zedekiah. So let's see what happens, brothers and sisters. Thus saith Yah, take heed to yourselves and bear no burden on the Sabbath day, nor bring it in by the gates of Jerusalem, neither carry forth the burden out of your houses on the Sabbath day, neither do ye any work, but hallow ye the Shabbat day, as I commanded your fathers. But they obeyed not, neither inclined their ear, but made their neck stiff, that they might not hear nor receive instruction. And that, brothers and sisters, is why many do not care to keep the Shabbat, not wanting to have to receive instruction. Brothers and sisters, it is a matter of making yourself a perpetual slave, brother. Did you know that? When you say you're going to go to work, for the lack of a better term, under this white man system on the Shabbat, what are you saying? You just got to go to that job, huh? You just got to do something that's going to violate your covenant with your God. Who's really winning? Because these companies are making more than the pennies that they give, even if it's a 5 or 6 figure salary. Trust you me, they're getting more out of you than you are ever getting from them. Believe that. We already know that our social security card and numbers are already used as a file for other people to get money and so forth and so on. So you're already born into a matter of being used. So what is the point, brothers and sisters, in that particular case? This should also tell us as Israel that we definitely, brothers and sisters, need to come together as a closer community so people won't feel they have to be obligated to have to sit there and feel in a tight position as well. You understand? The Sabbath day, it says you, your son, your daughter, your manservant, your maidservant, your cattle as well. That inclusive of everyone. If Israel truly had a system that we can sit there and be closer knit to each other, they would definitely, not that it's ever justified, but there would definitely not be a reason to say, I got to go in or work, say, on the Shabbat and so forth and so on. If we had more entrepreneur matters, during when it says 6 days you shall labor, do all your work, that kind of thought would never, ever could creep into somebody's head. But at the same token, brothers and sisters, when you go on Facebook, when you go on whatever platform, to sit there and state, such as, well, if somebody's breaking the Sabbath, you don't put them to death, so therefore there's no point in keeping it. Brothers and sisters, where is your mind at? The Most High said he rather the wicked change from their way. That's in Ezekiel. So we're not supposed to be looking forward to putting anyone to death. That's not our portion. If the Most High said he rather the wicked change from their way and do that which is lawful and right. So, brothers and sisters, in closing this particular presentation out, if we will, this is not, again, going to be long-winded. This is not going to be but so long, but just wanted to sit there and state to they who deliberately do so, you do not justify scripturally, brothers and sisters. That is leaning to your own understanding and so forth and so on. Now, one of the things we want to present and talk about in this particular matter is this. Everyone wasn't doing offerings. And we're going to read in Numbers chapter 28, if we will, as we begin to close out. I try not to go over an hour in doing a speech online or presentation online. But let's go, if we will, brothers and sisters, to Numbers, the 28th chapter. And let's see what it says in this particular case. All right? Here, brothers and sisters, it says, and Yah spoke unto Moshe, saying, it goes on to say, brothers and sisters, verse 9, and on the Shabbat day, 2 lambs of the first year without blemish, and 2/10 of a deal of flour for a meal offering, mingled with oil, and a drink offering thereof. This is the burnt offering of every Shabbat, beside the continual burnt offering and its drink offering. So, brothers and sisters, some have stated, well, where's your offering that you presented according to this? Brothers and sisters, the offerings were done in Jerusalem. If you look at a map of how ancient Israel was, you had Israelites on the east side and west side of the Jordan. So you would not bring a lamb over the river every single Shabbat. When David counted Israel, he counted over in those times, brothers and sisters, he counted over those times over 70,000, if you will. And if he was able to count that, let's think for a second, brothers and sisters, would that be logical for over 70,000 lambs being brought to Jerusalem every single Shabbat? No. What Numbers chapter 28 is telling us is a correlation with Deuteronomy chapter 18, when it says of their free will offerings, their tithes, their burnt offerings, that is given to the Levites. So there's only 2 that's done on the Shabbat, but because the Shabbat's a day, there's 2 also because there's offerings done every day. So it's not that every person would go to Jerusalem every Shabbat with an offering in that particular case. All right? Hopefully that's understood, because that's one of the arguments that's given, that if you don't bring your offering, but this shows no disrespect to show that people, when they don't want to do something, they're not going to delve hard into it. When you already got your mind made up and you already focused on what you want to do, you're not going to delve into the fact that every single person in the house of Israel on every single Shabbat is bringing 2 lambs. Furthermore, everybody cannot afford 2 lambs in ancient days or in modern times. So what are we to do, brothers and sisters? We offer for the offerings the prayers of our lips before the Most High, as stated in the scriptures. Why not do that then? There are Israelites online that are teaching that we can't keep the Sabbath, and the only thing we can do is just cry out. So why not cry out on the Shabbat? I tell you what, it's because you don't want to keep it. You're missing that money. That's essentially what it is. So you're not going to think to work double on so-called Sunday to make up, if you will. No. You rather work 1 on Shabbat, 1 on so-called Sunday, as opposed to saying, let me work the double on so-called Sunday. and give the Most High his time, who gives me the strength to do that double on so-called Sunday. Brothers and sisters, keeping the Shabbat will preserve your life. And what I mean by that is this. Do we know how many people have gone out the way of the world because they was not where they were supposed to and should have been doing on the Shabbat? These things, brothers and sisters, we must sit there and take to heart, brothers and sisters. So again, while not professing myself as the best Shabbat keeper in my life, never is it to be taught or given an example of breaking the Shabbat, brothers and sisters. That is not an upright thing. Let us, brothers and sisters, conclude in this particular matter. To the people who help participate and so forth is definitely appreciated. And brothers and sisters, let us, if we will, close out in this particular matter. We're going to read two particular portions, brothers and sisters, and close out. Psalm 92, we read as follows. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yah, and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. Upon the instruments of 10 strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the harp, with a solemn sound. For thou, Yah, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the work of your hands. O Yah, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth the fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yah, art most high forevermore. For lo, thy enemies, O Yah, for lo, thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of the wild ox. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. My eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and my ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like a palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yah shall flourish in the courts of Eloheinu, of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to show that Yah is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Psalm 92, a psalm for the Shabbat day, saying what? It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yah. Brothers and sisters, what's wrong with doing that on the Shabbat? And to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. Brothers and sisters, how are you going to proclaim the matter that you're an Israelite, and there's a sign that your chief, that your God made, and what we are supposed to do in that particular time, certainly if not any other time, to show forth his loving kindness? How can we do that if you're hating on those who want to keep the Sabbath? That's the opposite of the loving kindness. How are you going online saying people are wrong for wanting to have a day of rest? You have the mindset of the enslaver. Because even on so-called Sunday, when they was doing their so-called Sabbath, we were still on the plantation. Check the history, brothers and sisters. These people don't let the land have a Sabbath like Leviticus 25 talks about. That's not their culture. Our culture teaches us to let the land rest. Our culture teaches us to let our animals rest. Our culture teaches that. So when you do your work, you can sit there and do it much more well, much better, because you had that spiritual rest and so forth and so on. It wasn't busybody, busybody, busybody. And this is why brothers and sisters who teach to not keep the Sabbath, brothers and sisters, they don't have no shalom, no peace. They don't have that refreshing matter. It's every Shabbat you might see online, one way or the other, somebody saying, well, you can't keep it. That person, that soul is not at rest. And is not to play holy and thou. It says there is no rest, save my God, for the wicked. So brothers and sisters, in light of that, yes, it is wicked to teach people to not have a day of rest. The day of rest, the Shabbat. You are an oppressive spirit. Just keep working, just keep working, just keep working. while we know that we're not to be lazy, the fact that our culture teaches us to have a Shabbat, to have a time of rest, a time of sabbatical from doing your other matters, and to get right back on it the next day, brothers and sisters, shows that we are not a lazy people. See, we don't have a set aside time that we must work compared to the amount of time that we are told to not work. That just going to show you that your culture is about working. That's why you have a day of rest to not work. Case in point, this society has what they call Mother's Day. They have a day set aside to honor their mothers. That goes to show you that their culture in general is not about honoring their mothers. If your culture has a day set aside for something, that means that is going against the regular matter of what your daily and yearly and weekly and monthly life is about. If you got a day set aside to give gifts, it goes to show you that you're not usually about giving gifts. If you got a day set aside to sit there and have a day of rest, that goes to show you that you're usually not about having that rest. So I point all this out, brothers and sisters, giving honor and praise to the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. It is a Japhetic culture from the Greeks to have the children of Israel to not keep the Shabbat. And any Israelite that is up there teaching online that you cannot keep it are the workers of Antiochus Epiphanes, or the workers of Domitian of Rome, or the workers of the people who don't want us to keep the Shabbat. You are friends with they of Antiochus of Greece, with Domitian of Rome, and of the slave masters in Florida that was saying, we brought you here not to serve God, but to serve us. Any man telling you to go to work for another man, because in most cases we don't work for ourselves or employ ourselves with the situations we in. Any man telling you that you must go to work for somebody else, just think about that for a second, family. Here you got Israelites saying, go to work on the Shabbat. You're telling a man to go to work for another man? When do we stop being that homeborn slave? Let's look at it in that aspect. See the mentality of just wanting to, quote, get that paper, but not understanding what to do with it to build it back into our own, for our own. That's a problem. There are different aspects on how we can take this. And one of the things to point out, brothers and sisters, in closing out, is this. Israel is the wife of the Most High. Our husband, Yah, has made, after doing all of the good things he's done for us in his loving kindness, a time that he wants to be acknowledged for that. Now, as a human male, when you have an anniversary or memorial, when you have that time that you want your lady around giving you praises like we do with our Ish, the Most High, on the Shabbat, she puts you on the back burner, how do you feel? Just a question. Giving honor and praise unto Yah, Creator, Maker of heaven and earth. Hopefully everybody is well and will be better. Shalom. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. As you might see there, my number is 908-587-4841. My Cash App is there for those interested. PayPal, the number is still the same, 908-587-4841. The book, Deuteronomy 28, History Untold to the Masses, is on sale until tomorrow. That is to say, it's $25 for those interested online, and it will be changed in price come tomorrow in that particular case. So with that, I say total out for those who have supported, patronized. Shalom. Most High bless.